Hey guys, welcome back to another Plan With Me. This week I'm planning from Monday, June 2nd to Sunday, June 8th, and I'm using this kit from Scribble Prints Co., which is obviously one of her pop culture, pop mystery kits. I'm not sure if this was a pop mystery or not. I don't really purchase anything mystery, but she has done those sales. It's not even a sale. She's done those posts where like you can go through and select all of the previous pop mysteries that you want. I don't know if I got this then, only because I have a Lego sampler and I thought the add-ons were only available. I don't know. You know what? I'm hearing myself talk. It doesn't matter. Point is, I have it and I used it and I thought it worked really well for this week because I had nothing going on and I wanted something sort of summery. And to me, they go to summer camp. This is a perfect summer spread. And I'm kind of excited to get away from the pastels. I think this year I have done the most like pastel springtimey looking kits I've ever done. I don't know. I mean, I like them and it just worked out that way. I don't know, but I really like this color scheme. I think it's a little more unusual. I don't know that I've ever seen navy, burgundy, cream, and like a soft sage green all together, but I think it looks really pretty. And I decided to use the date covers, as you can see, because I've mentioned this before, but I love it when the date covers match the bottom washi. I'm not as in love with it when they're just like the alternating colors that match the glitter headers. Not as into that. So I really wanted to use them. I didn't have the energy or the time to go looking for date dots, so I just wrote them in. You can't really read them every day because depending on what color I wrote on, you get it, you see it. At first I thought I wasn't going to use the deco up top and I was just going to keep it and use it as functional deco in the future. But when I finished my spread and I was looking through my phone at the spread, it just looked so empty. It looked fine, like just laying on my desk, but I'm glad that I ended up going back and adding the deco. I just think it looks better. Especially because I didn't move the date covers up because frankly, I didn't have a lot to mark this week. And for once it worked out because I feel like every time I have a full kit or like I use a printable and those are always full kits, I don't have as much going on. And then when I have one of these mini kits with not many stickers, I want to mark every single breath I took that week. So it actually lined up this week. Like Wednesday, I only had 3 things to mark. 3 things. I did nothing. And I've definitely mentioned that, I mentioned this multiple times, that during this time I was going through a depressive episode, and I keep saying that I think this is the last week. I think this is the last week. I do think this is the last week. I think the next week I feel better. And I let myself just rot and fester this week. I didn't do much. I didn't even have any weekend plans, which was very much needed. I was still feeling like anxious and depressed and not amazing over the weekend. And for no reason. Like I'm telling you, this was all for no reason. I remember, Joe asked me, I think on like Saturday or something, he's like, why are you so upset? I'm like, I don't know. It was, yeah. Anyway, I think I started feeling better after this week simply because I just let myself exist without any expectation. And I watched a lot of The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, which was my show at the time. And it's definitely a comfort show. I don't know when I'll rewatch it, but I think I will rewatch it eventually. It just made me really happy. So I mean, well, nothing was making me happy, but you get what I mean. Anyway, like I said, nothing really went on this week, so I'm just going to start going through the day by day. Starting with Monday, the first thing I marked as per usual was that I was remote this day, and I used a Fox and Cactus cat for that. Then with this Munchkin from Once More With Love, I marked washing my sheets. With this Sticky Perks dishes soap sticker, I marked that I did the dishes. Then with this Squish from Fox and Cactus, I marked that I did a back workout. With this Paper Shire sticker, I marked that the system was down, which was really nice, my work system. And I didn't have any work at the time that needed to be done off, like out of our database. So I just kind of sat there wiggling my mouse. It was nice. I couldn't do anything. And I think this is like a remote work sticker, but I just thought like, I don't know. It looks like it's a bunny, right? It looks like the bunny's on vacation, so I used that. Then with another Sticky Brick sticker, I marked that I read. With this emoji gear head sticker, I marked that someone knocked on our door, which is really creepy because this is an apartment. Well, it's apartment buildings, but there's only 3 apartments in the building. So it had to be one of our neighbors because nobody else can get to our door. And we were just like, what the fuck do they want? So we just kind of waited and listened, and eventually they walked away, and I have no idea what they wanted. They never came back. It was just really creepy. I'm not gonna lie. I'll get into it at a later date, but I'm not loving our new neighbors, let me just say, okay? Then with this emoji, this I've had forever, but I used this to mark drawing. My roommate and I decided to have like a little evening. We drew for like 30 minutes, and then I played The Last of Us 2 for I think like an hour. She really wants me to play the game before I watch the new season, and I can already see why. Like, the show has, according to her, I haven't watched it yet, has like, it just gives away everything. And I'm playing the game and I have so many questions. I'm like, oh my God, but why did she do that? And she's like, you'll see. If you were watching the show, you'd already know because they ruined it. So if for some reason you have not yet watched The Last of Us Season 2, I guess play the game because it's better. So anyway, we just did a little bit of drawing, and then I played the game, and I used a Scribble Sticker Co. controller for that. And then the final thing on Monday with this Prairie Planner TV was that I watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. Then moving on to Tuesday, the first thing I marked was that I was in office, and I used this. I think this is like a computer trouble sticker from Once More with Love, maybe? But I just used it to mark like not wanting to be in the office. Then with this heartbroken, this is embarrassing, but whatever, I'll tell you. With this heartbroken rabbit hole handcraft sticker, I marked that I almost started crying reading an article about the Buffy the Vampire Slayer reboot. I'm hoping it's good. I'm going to watch it, even though honestly I probably shouldn't. It's probably not good for my mental health. I know that's so messed up, but like Buffy the Vampire Slayer is like, it means way too much to me in like an unhealthy way. And I don't want a new Slayer. I don't, like, even though Sarah Michelle Gellar is going to be in it, I'll watch it, but I don't want a new Slayer. I don't. And all of the vampires are going to be old or not in it. And I want James Marsters to be in it, but he's going to be like 60. So how is he going to be a young bit? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's making me sick, and I almost started crying reading about it. So I had to like click out of the article, and I was like, okay, you're 34 and you're crying about a TV show. You need to get your shit together. But I have not seen a single reboot that is good. I'm watching And Just Like That just for fun. It's horrible. It's horrible. I don't even associate it with Sex and the City. It's so bad. The Will and Grace reboot, sorry, that sounded weird. Terrible. Way too political. The show was already political enough, and they it was just so in your face it wasn't good. And that's also one of my favorite shows from when I was a kid. But anyway, like I'm really dreading this new show because I think they're gonna ruin it. I guess the Dexter reboots are fine because they ended the show poorly. So that's different. Buffy ended perfectly. Like, we were good. We were done. We didn't need any more. We didn't even need that last season of Angel. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, that's so embarrassing because that's really pathetic. It doesn't matter. It's TV. So moving on with this Future Me Problems sticker, I marked that I was just looking at jobs for a little bit. I mean, I'll talk about this eventually because it's happening right now, but I just did not have like a good couple days at work. And I know I need to find a new job. It's so hard. It's so hard to get going because it's like probably my least favorite thing in the world to do is look for jobs. So I looked for like a hot second, and I'm sure they're all fake. I'm sure they're all fake postings because that's a thing now where companies just like post. Anyway, I am going off the deep end. Back to now with this rabbit hole handcraft book. I marked that I read. Then with this TV from Scribble Prints Co. and this squish on a walking pad, I marked that I walked 14,000 steps this day total. That's including going back and forth to work. It wasn't just all on the walking pad, and I watched the movie Freaky because I don't have any subscription services, but you can use, is it Vivo? I don't remember, but there's one subscription service that's free with ads, and you can watch some stuff that's on Amazon Prime. Not all of it, but a lot of it. And I just put on something. I needed something, and it was awful. I didn't even finish it, the Freaky movie. I think I watched an hour of it and then got off the walking pad. Then and if you don't know what it is, it's like Freaky Friday or Hot Chick, but with a serial killer, and it's just bad. Then with this Papershire sticker, I marked that I watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. And with this, this is actually a FaceTime munchkin, but I used it to mark hitting my swag bucks goal. I think I got like $30 in gift cards. It's all gift cards, but I think I got $30 in gift cards from hitting this goal. And I was running out of time. Like, I was running out of days. So that was exciting. And then the final thing on Tuesday with this SE nail polish from Sticky Perks, I think, I marked that I did my nails. Moving on to Wednesday, the first thing I marked, nothing happened this day. So you can see a whole box is just dedicated to the fact that I was in the office this day. And I can't remember where this big sticker's from. I think it's from, like, is it Creating & Co? I don't remember. I'm sorry. If you want to know where this big ass sticker's from, I will look at the sheet and let you know. Then with this flat lay from Papershire, I marked that I filmed, and then the only other thing I did on Wednesday was watch The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, and I used this leftover deco, which is technically Disney, but it's fine. Moving on to Thursday, the first thing I marked was that it was just so fucking hot and humid. I was, disgusting. It was just, it's just nasty. Anyway, I used a munchkin for that. Then with this Simply a Mess or something sticker, I marked that my in-office day was fortunately flying. I don't know. I had a lot to do that wasn't like painful to do, if that makes sense. So fortunately, my day was going by quickly because I've been having some days that just drag on forever. Then with this munchkin, I just marked the Trump and Elon thing because that was hilarious. Then with this printable sticker, it's just a book. I can't remember where I got it from, but I did print it. I marked that I read. With this also leftover deco from somewhere, it's a silhouette. I marked that I printed and cut a kit. With this emoji, I marked that I played more of The Last of Us 2. And then the final thing on Thursday with the rabbit hole handcraft sticker was that I watched The Marvelous Mrs. Maisel again. Then moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked with this big rabbit hole handcraft sticker was that I slept in a little bit and got to cuddle with the kitties. Then with this emoji working in bed or just on a laptop in bed, I marked that I was remote. With this Papershire sticker, I believe this was from a freebie, but it worked perfectly for filling in my spread. Then with this, another squish on a walking pad, I marked that I walked a little bit. Then with more leftover deco, I marked that I packed. Just to go over to Joe's for the weekend. With another rabbit hole handcraft sticker, I just marked that I was feeling really depressed. With this Fox and Cactus shoe, I marked that we both went for a walk, which made me feel better. I was like in a slump, so we went for a walk, and that sort of like reset me a little bit. And then when we got back, we finally watched Sinners, which I did enjoy. I'm not gonna lie, it was a little overhyped to me, just a tinge, but I did enjoy it. And I did like the end, like the post-credit scene. I thought that was cute. So anyway, I used a Once More with Love sticker for that. Then moving on to Saturday, the first thing I marked with a Papershire sticker was that it rained. With this Run Errand sticker from, I think, Scribble Sticker Co, but I could be, no, I think it's Paper Crown Prints actually. I marked that we ran errands. With this Do Not Disturb, munchkin, I think, I marked that I took an accidental nap. Then with another Sticky Perks book, I marked that I read. With this Sticky Perks domino box, I marked that we got dominoes for dinner. With this rabbit hole handcraft sticker, I marked that after dinner we went to ShopRite because they had a sale on something. Can't remember what. And it was the last day, so we ran out to get it before they closed. And then the final thing on Saturday with this Papershire TV. I am loving all these TVs from Papershire with like the different shows. I love it. Anyway, I marked that we watched, I think probably just the challenge. I don't know. Then finally moving on to Sunday, the first thing I marked with another one of these like Simply a Mess whoever girls, I marked that I had to rush to CVS to get my birth control pills because a while ago, I can't remember if I marked it in my planner, I assume I did, but I was taking my birth control pill in Joe's apartment and I dropped it like in his bathroom and it completely disappeared. He even checked his vent, he checked his basement to see if it like fell through the floor. It's just gone forever, which is fine, except for now my schedule is fucked up and I run out of pills on Saturdays instead of Sundays. And I fell asleep because of my accidental nap on Saturday, and I slept until CVS, the pharmacy, was closed, and I couldn't get my pill, and I really didn't want to start bleeding. So first thing, like right when the pharmacy section of CVS opened on Sunday, I was there first fucking thing so I could immediately pop that pill. And it worked. I didn't get my period, so that's good. Anyway, after that, with this Scribble Prints Co. YouTube sticker, I marked that I watched some YouTube. With this Once More With Love Munchkin drawing, I marked that I drew a little bit. With a Munchkin reading, I marked that I read. With this Papershire, I think this is like a therapy sticker, I just marked that I was feeling anxious, probably because it was Sunday. And then with a Prairie Planner shoe, I marked that we went for a walk, probably again to help me reset. And when we got back, we watched the movie The Game with Michael Douglas. I have started that movie, I think, like 3 times and never paid attention to it. So this night we finally paid attention to it and finished it. And I enjoyed it. I kind of hated the ending. But hate's a strong word. I didn't love the ending, but I did enjoy the movie. And I used another Once More With Love sticker for that. So yeah, that's everything for this week. Kind of bummed. I'm looking at I was doing things. I was playing my game and reading my book and drawing, and that just all went out the window. So anyway, we'll get back to that eventually, probably in August. The rest of my month is fucked, let me tell you. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.